Bonjour à tous. Welcome to this segment here. My biggest advice I would give anyone, everybody, towards training overall, but towards French training here, would be a good attitude. And here is why. With a good attitude, we are open. We are receptive to information. We are willing to hear it. We are willing to learn. But the contrary is also true with a bad attitude. And what I'm going to call a bad attitude, I'm going to label these very specifically. Yet, I want to just focus here. Good attitude, enthusiastic. We want to be open minded about the training we're getting, about the teacher we're getting, about the content itself. French training, sure, but the delivery method. And of course, there are going to be some we will watch out for certain things also. There are going to be some matters that we want to address here concerning certain schools, certain teachers, tutors, private people, and all that. You don't want to just kind of tolerate training, but you don't want to barge in there with certain bad attitudes. Here is, for example, a form of bad attitude would be somebody who's tremendously bored. They are beneath this training is beneath them. They are bored with it. They are not interested. They're not really paying attention, and they're letting people know. I've seen some folks, maybe closer to their retirement, probably not going to last in the next budget type of cut. People who would they're come to training and they'd open the Toronto Star and start reading while the teacher speaks. Just it was intentional to show I don't care for training. Maybe I don't care for French. Perhaps I don't care for French people. There's been a lot of tension in the country before, and that's fine. We have our rights. We have you have all the right to you have all your rights. You have all the right to dislike some folks or not want to learn certain things, sure, but you're on your employer's time. The teacher here, teachers, they have a career. If they have a good career, good for them. Maybe some of them are not really where they want to be. That's not your problem, though. That we're going to assume that they are generally functional workers, and so their career is fine. They're here to help your career. So to ignore the teacher, you're really only kind of, it's a little bit like spitting at the rain. Spitting at the rain is what I would compare it to. Here's another bad attitude, another kind of behavior. People who are the plenty of people who get French training paid for by their employer and so on are generally they've kind of earned it. Alors, they might be quite gifted at a lot of things. Maybe not French, but they are maybe they are good in French also. Who knows? They might be excellent, but they are definitely successful, and they again do not really enjoy the training. Alors, the idea being that they are, high octane kind of folks. They are very dedicated to education and so on. They feel they are in bad hands. Alors, they are too smart. I think it's the most polite way of putting it. They are just too smart for the teacher, too smart for the school, too smart for French. Well, then why are you attending class? I mean, you don't want to poke holes in everything the teacher says. For example, myself, I like to be very dynamic, very engaging. And I will say things such as when there are terms that I think we should use twice, to use them twice. There are small phrases. For example, just quickly, briefly, if you're going to say the word but, me, double up. I say double up. Double up. And some students, historically, there's always somebody somewhere, would kind of, they're looking down on that kind of simple, what a dumb thing to say, to double up. There is a proper word for that, but I do think that it's kind to just have something that me and the student can, when they are speaking, I can tell and they heard me in their brain, double up. Par contre, toutefois, je crois que better than using mais, which is kind of brief and short. Alors, it's me, like, I'm miming, I'm kind of acting here silently, a silent actor, so that they can get the proper words out without disrupting, without interruption, because at that moment it is crucial. D'accord? Alors, something like that. But, you know, some teachers are maybe kind of making jokes because they're trying to create a liaison with a complete stranger. And you will build a relationship. But at first, they were trying to make it fun because they might, you know, working their best. I've seen all kinds of teachers work their best, work their magic, but the person is may have a bad attitude. Maybe they're bored. Maybe they're too smart. Here's another bad attitude that could happen. People who feel condemned. They've been cursed with French training. Ugh, I gotta go to French. And they don't like it and they don't want to be there. And unfortunately, often in those settings, you might be dealing with group training. That has a major detrimental effect on other students. Now, either you're a cool, the cool leader type, and people are following into your footsteps of, oh, I hate this and all that, and why do I have to do this? And I have projects, I have things to do. We all have things to do. But again, this is your job. Your employer is sending you here. This is work. It's not a work outside of work. It's not extracurricular. Plus, you have the benefit often of not having to pay for it. I mean, um, we're kind of like when we're sent on any conference, a seminar, a training of any kind. We just kind of get up and go, learn, pick it up. D'accord. Here's another unfortunate one that I find, and it's not because I'm trying to target these people. We don't want to eliminate these people. We want, if that's your attitude, we want to just kind of change it because it's a whole world apart. Dragging your feet, you will never finish the race. It's not enjoying. It's not enjoyable. But it's actually very fun to learn, to acquire knowledge, and it might be a problem not with you. After you fix a good attitude, now you know you're not the problem. D'accord? We can target the actual issue, and that will help you get better service. That will ensure that the industry is no longer abusive or uncaring. So here's the last kind of bad attitude I'd like to target. And this one is unfortunate. And I do find it comes from a good person and specifically a good teacher. Working in the field is some folks cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel. They are very defeated. Maybe sometimes it's because they feel like they've been through, tough times before. They've seen that kind of scenario play out, and so they believe that they are reliving defeat. They're reliving useless motion. We're doing this for absolutely no point. But maybe they've been also misguided. Also, another potential hypothetical scenario might be these people are very functional. They've done great in high school. They've done great in university. They've done great. They got their masters. They got their PhDs even. They've never faced defeat. They never not passed a test. They have never seen something that they can't do. And so unfortunately, that might play on their attitude that they might be simply not well taught. They might not have a good teacher, a good school. We might be teaching them a traditional way while these people are actually very highly functional, very successful, very gifted learners. But we are teaching them the same way that we've been teaching for centuries in the French world. And so it doesn't apply well to them. But now it's destroying them. I'll never get this. I've tried it before. I've tried a couple of tutors and schools, and I've been learning on my own, and I just can't. I'll never get this. I might as well just forget the whole thing. That is a very bad attitude. You may have been misguided. You may have had horror stories, horrible teachers, maybe really things that are impactful, negative impact on long term. But turn the other page. Go for that good attitude. Have a good dialogue. Audit your teacher. Meet your teachers before you ever pay them. That's what I recommend. When you're going to join a school, meet the teacher. Some schools, I've heard, will go as far as charging for you to get an assessment. That is the other way around. That's a shoe on the wrong foot. Alors, if anything, you're not auditioning for them. They should be auditioning for you. D'accord? Meet the teachers. Ask which teacher you'll have. Some people love the idea you'll have two teachers, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, for full time training, stuff like that. It's very convenient. One of them is doing heavy lifting, and the other teacher might not be very gifted at all. And so we're kind of keeping you in class all the time because you're 1 foot forward, 2 feet, 2 step back. See that kind of dance. That's not good. You may have a teacher with very little experience who's tremendously gifted. You just connect with. You might have a teacher with tremendous experience, and now they don't really care for you don't consider that you deserve a special treatment. I don't think those are good either, and I'll be discussing that in the next segment. Teachers. D'accord? I got to train many teachers at several schools. I was always a problem solver. I'm the guy. Gabby was the one that we send when that high priority client or student is not happy and we need results quickly. I've always been the problem solver at every school I've been to. I've been quite gifted. Um, Great, but the point is, I got to train a number of folks. Uh, you know, uh, I'm very happy with what I do. So we'll discuss that in the next one. My major advice, kind of like that old song, when you're smiling, the sun is shining. D'accord? Let's go with that kind of attitude. Good attitude, good cheerful attitude, and I assure you, don't go thinking that you cannot do this. You've been poorly taught. That might be the issue, but you can definitely learn French. You already know tons of French because you know English. Very similar languages. Let's move on to the next tip. I hope this works for you. Good attitude.